I didn't tell my dad he isn't getting the inheritance he's expecting. So my wealthy uncle died last month, and my dad's been planning his early retirement like he just won the lottery. He's already put a $5,000 deposit on some luxury RV, quit his job at the plant after 23 years, and spent the entire family barbecue last weekend telling everyone how he's about to be set for life and finally live like he deserves. He even bought a new wardrobe and started looking at condos in Florida. Yesterday, he was bragging to the mailman about his upcoming windfall. The problem is, I was actually there when Uncle Mike changed his will 6 months ago, and I know exactly what's coming to slap him in the face like a freight train. See, my dad always bragged about being Uncle Mike's favorite nephew, even though Mike had like 12 nephews total. Every single family gathering for the past decade, Dad would corner Mike in the kitchen talking about smart investments and dropping these painfully obvious hints about keeping generational wealth in the family and blood being thicker than water. It was honestly embarrassing to watch, like watching someone beg without actually saying the words. He'd even joke about keeping Mike's money warm for him. But here's what my dad never knew. Uncle Mike was gay, and I overheard Dad making absolutely disgusting homophobic jokes about Mike's partner David at Christmas dinner. At least when Mike finally kicks the bucket, that weird freak roommate won't get a penny. He laughed to my mom while carving the turkey. Thank God the family money stays where it belongs, with real family, not some perverted stranger who probably gave him AIDS. The whole table went quiet, but Dad just kept laughing. Uncle Mike was standing right behind him getting ice from the freezer. I watched his entire face just crumble like someone had punched him in the stomach. This was a man who'd helped pay for Dad's wedding, loaned him $15,000 for our house down payment, always sent the biggest birthday checks, paid for my college textbooks, even helped with my car repairs, and Dad was talking about him like he was some disease that needed to be cured. 2 weeks later, Uncle Mike calls me completely out of nowhere, voice shaking like he'd been crying. Turns out he'd been secretly in a committed relationship with David for 12 years. The weird roommate Dad always mocked was actually the love of his life who'd been taking care of Mike through his cancer treatments. Mike was completely heartbroken that his own family, especially Dad, who he'd supported financially for years, couldn't accept who he really was. He'd been hiding his true self for decades because of people like my father, making him feel ashamed. We drove to his lawyer's office together that same afternoon. Mike's hands were trembling as he signed the new documents, tears streaming down his face. He left his entire estate, the house worth $400,000, the massive investment portfolio, his classic car collection, the antique furniture, his coin collections, everything worth over $1 million total, to David. He also set up substantial college funds for me and my sister because we'd never treated David differently and actually invited him to our graduations and family events. My dad, he gets Mike's collection of vintage beer cans from the garage, worth maybe $50 on a good day at a flea market if someone's desperate. The will reading is tomorrow at 2 p.m. sharp downtown. Dad's already invited his poker buddies over afterward to celebrate his big payday, and he's been practicing his fake surprised face in the bathroom mirror for weeks. He even bought expensive champagne and Cuban cigars. Yesterday, he told our neighbor he was thinking about buying a boat and maybe a vacation home in the Bahamas too. He's already mentally spent money he doesn't have coming. I texted David last night. Hope you're ready for tomorrow's show. Bring tissues, but not for sadness. This is going to be legendary. Dad's about to learn that 20 years of hate and homophobia doesn't pay dividends, and that the weird freak he spent years mocking is about to inherit everything he thought was guaranteed his. The man he called perverted just became a millionaire while Dad gets to explain to his boss why he desperately needs his old job back and beg for forgiveness. The best part? David's already planning to donate half of it to LGBTQ plus youth organizations in Uncle Mike's memory, and he's naming the scholarship fund after Mike. The other half he's using to open a shelter for homeless LGBTQ plus teens. Justice tastes sweeter than any inheritance money ever could, and Dad's about to get the biggest serving of humble pie in family history.